a doctor and his patient. So he took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands on him, he asked him if he saw anything. And he looked up and said, I see men like trees walking. Then he put his hands on his eyes again and made him look up, and he was restored and saw everyone clearly. Mark 8:23-25. Healing in the days of Jesus. In the ancient world, healing of the sick was often the task of religious leaders. The Pharisees understood that healing could occur through intervention when they referred to the healing of a blind man by Jesus as in the realm of such miracles. John 9:15-16. Demons were often seen as the cause of illness. Casting out demons, therefore, was a widespread form of healing. In many New Testament instances of demon possession, the tormentors are noted in the plural, such as Legion in the story of the miracle of the swine, Mark 5:9. Remains of the pools of Bethesda. Diseases of the eye, like the one afflicting this man undergoing treatment, were a common affliction in antiquity. Blindness is mentioned numerous times in the New Testament. In the story of the blind man in the pool of Siloam, Jesus applies a salve of earth from the pool and saliva to the eyes. Among the ancient physician's tools was a special long case, seen on the table at right, that held a plant derivative called collyrium, stored in the form of long sticks, which when kneaded was combined with water to form a paste. The high fever mentioned in the story of Peter's mother-in-law, Luke 4:38-39, was a specific illness that might be identified with chronic malaria. Jesus healed Peter's mother-in-law by touching her hand, Matthew 8:15, Luke 8:54. He healed Jairus' daughter in the same manner, as well as a leper, Matthew 8:3, Mark 1:41, Luke 5:13. Among the Essenes, whom Josephus tells us studied whatever is of use to the body and the spirit, Wars 2:8-6, healing through touch was also known. The apostles used anointing oil in the healing process, as noted in Mark 6:13 and Luke 10:34. Physicians had special assistants whose task it was to anoint patients with a prescribed oil specific to the illness. The pools of Bethesda. A pagan who was ill usually went to a temple of Asclepius, the pagan god of healing, or to a shrine to the goddess of Hygienia. Often he or she would remain there for several days, waiting for a sign or a dream regarding the course of the disease or its treatment. Pagan priests of Asclepius were often physicians, or pretended to be. Archaeologists have noted that a pagan healing shrine to Asclepius was later located at the Pool of Bethesda, where Jesus commanded a paralytic to walk. Some note that the story of the angel, for an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then, first after the troubling of the water, stepped in was made whole of whatsoever disease he had, John 5:4, was probably not connected to any known Jewish ritual. The Talmud mentions over 400 plants which were used as pharmaceuticals. Among them was cumin, now recognized to contain infection-preventative substances, which was applied to wounds. The gum of the terebinth tree above was used for toothaches and halitosis. Hot springs were known in antiquity for their therapeutic effects. In the Mishnah, 2 therapeutic hot springs are mentioned repeatedly, those of Tiberias on the Sea of Galilee and those of Gadara not far from there. It has been suggested that the many sick people who flocked to Jesus were often those who had come to the famous hot springs of the region in search of a cure. The pools of Bethesda, as seen in the Holy Land model of Second Temple era Jerusalem. Another curative indigenous to the Holy Land was asphalt, obtained from the Dead Sea, which was applied to boils and for pest extermination.